Welcome back to the Spectre Creative Channel, your source for news, information, and insight into the toy industry. For me, Scott, ToyGuru Neitlich. I've been in the toy industry for about 25 years, and I started this channel to clarify for toy collectors a lot of the aspects about the business of toys. So let's jump into something today. Obviously, there are really big toy companies out there with, their big corporate offices and their big corporate overheads and their big corporate salaries. There's also small toy companies that are just run by a handful of people. One thing they all have in common, though, is balancing supply and demand. And this relates to collectors because we're always wondering, where is our supply because we have demand? Why am I seeing empty pegs? Why can't I find the latest wave? Well, part of that is because there's a variety of people who work on toys. First off, there's the toy designers. These are obviously the people closest to the product and the ones who, shall we say, emotionally love toys the most because their entire life is physically tied to making the toy. Whatever line they're on, whether it's a girl toy, a boy toy, a toy for whoever, they love toys. Now, they're not the only ones in a toy company that love toys, of course. Most of the time, the marketing directors are also big toy fans. The bigger the toy fan the marketing director is, probably the closer the toys are to being really spectacular. But there's a lot of people behind the scenes in toy companies that you never really meet or hear from at toy shows or conventions or really talked about online. And these are the people that are in charge of really getting the product from the overseas vendor that is building the product and making it and assembling it and painting it and all of those things. And they have to ship it from a distribution center, usually overseas, to a distribution center in the US so that it can get to the toy aisle and at the end of the day be bought by the consumer, you and me, or ideally kids and gift givers, or, anyone buying a toy. So the group I want to talk about is the demand planner. The demand planner is the person in a toy company who just looks at the product as product. They don't look at it as toys, and they kind of can't look at it as toys because they're in charge of making sure the product, whatever it is, gets to where it's supposed to be. They look at toys as numbers, and this can be a little off-putting for people like you and me who are toy collectors. For us, when we look at a toy, it's less a toy and it's much more seen as something like, a trophy, like an award that, like, oh my gosh, I found the latest figure and now my collection is complete, or, I found a figure I've been looking for so long. Emotionally, this is how we connect as collectors to toys. They're prizes. They are our trophies. A lot of the reason because a lot of us didn't play sports growing up. Some of us obviously did, but to many of us, our action figure shelf is our trophy shelf. Well, for the demand planning group, they have to look at things a little different. We tend to have glasses on, kind of like that chapter in Wizard of Oz, for those of you who actually read the Wizard of Oz book. When the characters go to Emerald City, they all get these green glasses attached to their heads so that they'll see the Emerald City as green. That's actually why it looks green in the book. I know the movie was a little different, but stick with me for the metaphor. As collectors, we tend to have these glasses on. We view the toy aisle through a lens of this aisle is for me. I'm the number one customer. I'm coming here every single day. So of course this toy aisle should be for me. For the demand planner, they can't wear these glasses because they have to look at toys as numbers. And they can only look at them and see, okay, I have this number of units in inventory. I have this number of orders. I need to send out this inventory to people who place these orders as soon as humanly possible. So, taking a line that's currently at retail, Masters of the Universe Origins, when a demand planner is dealing with this toy line, they're not going to say, oh, this store has too many He-Man and not enough Scareglows, let's ship them more Scareglows. That's not the way shipping works. They can't just necessarily pick and choose or even have access to what's happening in the aisle on such a detailed level. It's really, here's an order from a major retailer, whether it's a big box store, it's a mom and pop store, it's an online store, but essentially they see, oh, here comes the order in. It says that we need Masters of the Universe Origins figures, or Transformers, or G.I. Joe, or Ghostbusters, or whatever it is, Polly Pocket, Hungry Hungry Hippos, whatever toy it is, they'll ship it out. They're not going to say, oh, you've already received lots of wave 1, so I better ship you wave 2. It's much more of a first come, first served basis. And it really has to be this way because, especially for the large companies, breaking it down into those minute details of saying, oh, you've already received too much of wave 3, we better make sure we send you wave 4, it doesn't really work that way. And the reason is because there's two types of orders. The first order is what's called the set order. And yes, I know that's the Egyptian god Set. Bear with me here. A set order is when a retailer is setting their planogram. And that's a large order because they need multiple case packs of every SKU. They can't just get one case pack of basic figures. They need to get the role play and the item on the bottom shelf and the deluxe figures, everything, the collector figures. They have to get multiple case packs of every SKU in order to set their planogram, which means if you're a huge store with lots of doors, you need tons of case packs of everything. In fact, you're probably ordering 60% of your entire annual order against any one SKU for the planogram set because you need to fill the entire planogram from ground zero. There's nothing there, and you have to fill it with everything. So this type of order tends to be the bulk of any SKU's production going to this. So, and if a store is going to have it exclusively, they're going to take everything. The second is your replenishment order. So this is when pegs are empty and you just need more of one SKU to fill it. Well, usually what this happens is the big box retailer has their own warehouse in their country and they can order these case packs from the warehouse. Or they might need to order a replenish wave or order, if you will, from the manufacturer. Either way, it's going to be a much smaller order because you're just filling one peg or one SKU. So you might also wonder, well, why are some stores getting figures that are stores that I've never even heard of that are far away in other countries, but my local toy store or toy aisle isn't getting the figures I want? And again, the reason is demand planning can't look at wave 1 versus wave 2. They have to look at it as we have an order for this SKU. This is the one we have in stock. How quickly can I change our in-stock inventory to out of stock? That's their job because they need to keep the system going. The sooner they turn in stock into out of stock, they've done their job. They have to see the world very much in black and white. It's not, this retailer hasn't received enough mermen and they have too many Skeletors, or they have too many Dukes, they need more Snake Eyes. Not only do they not have access to that, they only see where they're shipping their product. So if the order comes in from Europe and they have inventory in stock, they're going to ship it off to Europe, especially if, say, a US customer hasn't placed their order yet. The worst thing a demand planner can have is a warehouse full of product because they were, say, holding on to it, waiting for another wave to come in. Their goal is to get this stock out there as fast as humanly possible. And that's what keeps big toy companies going, and it keeps their stock price up by not having inventory. Everyone does get their fair share, but it's on a first come, first served basis, and you're going to get what's in stock. Toy companies can't hold stock or orders while waiting for, say, another fresh wave to come in. I hope this video clarified how product gets to shelf and who makes those decisions. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. As always, a like and a subscription is appreciated because that tells YouTube to share this with other people. Thanks for listening.